Hello and welcome back, faculty. For those that don't know who I am, my name is Chris Gibbons. I'm the director for the Healthcare Administration program here at the college. I'm also the director for our Allied Health Certificates. So that's about 7 programs that are in my area with multiple different accreditors. I'm also the developer of the Medical Imaging program here at Mercy College that Quentin is currently the director for. Again, been here for about 8 years in various faculty capacities and currently a faculty member with administrative release to run those various programs that I talked about. That's a little bit about me, but the most important thing for you to take away is that I am your Faculty Senate Chair for the next academic year for 17-18. And boy, do we have a lot to do this year. So I really need your help because this is probably going to be the most important year for faculty in quite a while. And why? Why is that? Well, that's because of shared governance. That is a process that we absolutely must get established this year. And we need all of us working together, all the faculty members working together to really shape and mold what this shared governance is. I know it's something that we have always wanted, and now is our time to step up and execute. So we have got a lot of work to do for this year. So my goal in this is to really help facilitate the process, and part of that is communication. So look for maybe bi-weekly videos or these kind of videos, these kind of updates, these fireside chats, if you will, to be very, very frequent and to keep you all engaged and informed in the process. All right, and part of that is right now because coming up this week on Wednesday and Thursday, we have our development days at JZoo. And part of that is the traditional faculty breakout that we've always had for quite a few years, where we kind of go off and do our thing, and then the staff goes and does their thing. So we've got a lot of things to do, and from really day one on you coming back to campus to help with that shared governance process. So I wanted to go over the agenda with you that we're going to have in our hour and a half, and really I'm going to give you a homework assignment. I need you to start thinking about these things now over the next couple of days so you can come in a little bit more prepared or have the kind of the mindset of what we're going to be doing on that Wednesday rather than me just springing it on you and saying, here's what we're doing. So this gets the creative juices flowing because again, all of us will need to work very, very diligently on this process in order to really kind of meet a timetable to have shared governance, that structure really fleshed out over the coming months. All right, so with that, let's take a look at the agenda and what we have going on. I'll remove my picture up here, and we'll just move that off altogether. Now, so we are scheduled for the 16th. That is, I believe, a Wednesday. Now, on that, we have an hour and a half breakout. Dr. Bates would like to spend some time talking to us, kind of a general discussion. So he'll be occupying about the first 15 minutes. From there, we are going to go immediately into our work that we need to do. So, kind of some immediate action steps for you to think about, especially I'm calling out the committee chairs. Okay, so committee chairs that were elected last year, chair-elect, please take note because what we're going to have right out of the gate is a breakout session for the existing faculty committees. So you guys will break out, and what we need you to do, what I need you to do, are some essential things. Is really, do you have a chair? Right now, as it stands, it looks like some of our committees do not have a chair. So I need you to elect a chair and get a chair elect also in that process and your secretary. Again, I really need those 3 individuals defined right out of the gate because they're going to be essential in when we use these committee structures that we have right now to move this faculty governance process and really just to take care of the college of the business of the college as well and to get that fleshed out. So you're going to be electing some folks right out of the gate. Again, I understand there may be some reasons you can't, but we really want you to. I want you to get those chairs, and especially those secretaries and those chair elects in place right now. Also, I need you to look at your membership. Just kind of looking at the list, it looks like we have some vacancies. So I'm going to have you identify if you do have vacancies in your committee. We're going to identify that. I'll give you a sheet to fill out so you can let me know if you do have those vacancies. We may have a process in place where we can get those vacancies filled relatively quickly, but we need these committees to be working and functioning really by the end of next week. So you really need to have those. We'll help you, or I'll help you with getting the vacancies filled. The deans will help you getting those vacancies filled. You need to elect your chairs, your chair elects, and your secretaries. Also, bylaws. I know there was, I was involved in a lot of committees, have been over the years, and last year I was in curriculum and faculty senate. I know there were some changes for all of us in that committee structure and bylaws. I need to know if you have bylaws, if they did get completely done last year. So I'll have you just report back on that. Again, I'll give you a little sheet that you can fill out. To my knowledge, I think maybe only one or two committees actually got completed bylaws last year and moved those forward. So we're going to check on that. All right, so we got 15 minutes to do all that work. Then we're going to jump into a group activity. So we're going to kind of break out, probably get away from that committee structure, mix up the tables a little bit more. But for that next activity that we're going to be doing, is I really want you to come up with some bullet points on what should the faculty responsibilities be in shared governance. What would you like to see in that? There's probably some things you don't want faculty involved in, and that traditionally haven't been done. But what do you think faculty should be involved with, and what should there be responsibilities in shared governance? So we're going to spend 10 minutes on that. You're going to bullet point some ideas, maybe a half a dozen per group, and then I'll collect all of those. Again, this process is about you getting your input, which we need to lay that cornerstone, that foundation in our development, really to help us get that blueprint established very early. And this is what all this is about right now. Then we're going to do another group activity. So once you come up with what we want to do, how are we going to do it? How are we going to execute those responsibilities? What kind of structure would work, do you think? Be creative. Think of other ideas. Some of you have worked for other institutions. Maybe we don't need to reinvent the wheel. Or, it's the Mercy difference. Maybe we can do something that's a little bit different, but that works for us. So think about how we're going to execute those responsibilities and what would shared governance look like. Then, after that, another group activity. Communication. I've heard this over the years, every year, every year has always been a topic, is really communication. So, how can we improve faculty communication really through that lens of shared governance? And that's really, I know there's other types of communication which you can touch on, but really think of it through shared governance. What would that communication be between all sides of the house here, and even between each other? How could we improve that, or what would you like it to look like? So think about communication. And then lastly, your last little group activity is I know that the big focus for this academic year will be the shared governance process, but doesn't mean that we can leave other things on the table and just let them sit and fester. So what other issues would you like to see addressed? Now, we may have to triage that to really prioritize our work for the year, but do take time to think about that. And then lastly, what we'll do is we'll have a little discussion about timeline, when we really need to get these things done. And really the timeline is going to push us forward to get various things completed that we fleshed out. All right, so there you go. There's a little bit of your homework, not much. Just need to start thinking about things and get some creative ideas. And I know some of you will probably go out and research the literature and come back with a whole bunch of information. That's great. I do apologize that we have a very, very compressed time, but know that this is going to start the process. Then we're going to have a couple of loops of this information as we go through this and keep kind of presenting it back and forth in this communication loop, and then eventually have this structure that we'll define along with a communication path that we'll have for the structure. I think is probably the best way to go. But I don't know, maybe something else might come out of this as well. All right, so there's your homework. There's our little bit of agenda for our breakout session. If you have any questions or concerns, I am your Faculty Senate Chair for this year. Please feel free to come by, talk to me. I love talking to people and getting out and about. So, stop by my office, or if I see you in the elevator, feel free to chat with me or send me an email. I do get a lot of communication coming in from various points, from students, from programs, from other faculty members that I work with. But listening to you and what you need will be very critical for this coming academic year. All right, that concludes my first little welcome video and talking about our shared governance and all that we have to do for the next academic year. And as always, thanks for watching.